Welcome back to the James McGee Show. I am your host. I am James McGee. What a beautiful, crispy, not cold, cool and crispy morning in Southwest Louisiana. Hope you are having a good week. We're towards the end, getting closer to the holidays. Crazy that it's already December 11th. So I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. I'm gonna trick you, get you off guard. I'm gonna start the day with Mama Luke of the day. I just can't resist. I've been lolling over this for a couple days. Didn't have a show yesterday. I do 4 a week. I'll have one tomorrow. I've been lolling over this for a couple days. This is absolutely terrible. Let me play it. So Jasmine Crockett is Mama Luke of the day once again. I'm not picking on her. She's just so hard to resist. She's an irresistible woman. I know she thinks that she is. She absolutely is, but in a different way than she portrays it. She is an irresistible woman. She's irresistible on just calling out her dumb shit. She announced her Senate campaign. So, let me play the video, and then we will. There's a lot to talk about with just this video. There's a whole lot to talk about, things I've been talking about for a long time when it comes to the new generation of politicians.
How about this new one they have? Their new star, Crockett. How about her?
She's the new star of the Democrat Party, Jasmine Crockett. They're in big trouble.
But you have this woman, Crockett. She's a very low IQ person.
I watched her speak the other day. She's definitely a low IQ person.
Crockett. Oh, man. Oh, man.
She's a very low IQ person.
Somebody said the other day she's one of the leaders of the party. I said, you got to be kidding.
Now they're going to rely on Crockett. Crockett's going to bring them back.
Wow. So some could say that this is the absolute worst political ad in the history of political ads. Now, some could also say this is the best political ad for Republicans ever. This is absolutely horrendous. And this is something I can speak very educated on. In my former life, when I was involved in politics and did political strategy, my number one asset was messaging. I was good at, now I had smart people around me. I am an idea person. I can come up with an idea and say, hey, I think this is going to work, and rough draft something, and there's some really smart people really specialize in communication and messaging that can formulate from my idea. And we had a good team that worked well together, and I came up with some pretty good ideas. Absolutely horrible. So what this reminds me of is, like one of those Nike Just Do It commercials where, let's say Russell Wilson. I think they had one years ago, Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson didn't go to college because he played pro baseball. He didn't go to college till late 20s, played football, and then he was 10. So you'd have a Russell Wilson, and you would have something like that. Like if you just see an audio, all it was her staring and flapping her big stupid fake eyebrows, and then at the end she turns and she smiles. It was just cringy and creepy. So say you had Russell Wilson, and they said they had him just staring at the camera, and they have a voiceover saying, he's too slow, he's too small, he's this, he's that, all the negativity, okay? And they start flashing his accomplishments: Super Bowl champ, this, all the yards of passing, his accomplishments. Okay, I see what they were trying to do, but they totally missed the mark because she has no accomplishments. So at the end, if they wanted to hit the mark at the end, they would have said, She passed this legislation. She did this. Well, the problem is she has done, good morning, everybody. So we got a lot of viewers this morning. That's awesome because I got a lot of stuff to say. So she has done nothing. She is Mama Luke of the day. Here's the deal. And I've been saying this for a very, very long time. And this is another example. You've had people. So the reason why she's running for Senate, let's cover that first. You have people that are saying that, why would she run for Senate? She can't win. She can't win. It's a red state, it's statewide. She can't win. Absolutely. She cannot win, but it's not about winning to her. See, here's the deal. The redistricting that Texas did, Governor Hot Wheels, he shoved them Hot Wheels up her ass. The redistricting, she can't win her district. Is now going. She can't run for Congress and she'll lose. Well, that's insulting if she loses her own Congress seat, right? So what she does is, okay, I'm gonna run for Senate. She can't win, but let me tell you, she's going to get the Democrat nomination because they view her as, because she's not but a mouthpiece, and I'll get into that. So she's going to run for Senate. Well, it's not about winning to her, and it's not about governing. Here, see, we have a trend, and it's mostly liberal women. Now, there's a few conservative women like Marjorie Taylor Greene. There's a few liberal men like Eric Swalwell that their goal is not to govern. Their goal is not to represent their constituents. Their goal is to be social media influencers. So what she's going to do is use this Senate race to raise a lot of money. She's going to raise a lot of money. Really put herself out there, and when she loses, she'll get some big contract with some big pod. She wants to be a podcaster. I don't blame her. I'm a podcaster. I love it. This is absolutely what I look forward to every single morning, is getting up and talking to y'all. She'll get some kind of deal. She'll end up on CNN. She wants to be Joy Reid. She wants to be Abby Phillips. She wants to be those types making millions of dollars a year. That's what it's about. Well, that's the issue. And I've been saying this for a long time. Our problem is that we have politicians, it's about their brand. They're doing nothing. They're getting nothing accomplished, but they're making silly TikToks. And it's at every level, state, local, national. They're making silly TikToks. They're doing these things. But if you really dive deep, and that's the thing, they know that the average voter, the average person doesn't dive deep. They know that all they see is the surface level stuff. There's no substance to their words, or there's no, their actual TikToks. But people like Jasmine, Crockett, AOC, they're taking advantage of that. And then with it being women, I have no problem with a woman using her attractiveness. But what's a little funny, but I've said this for years, you got to be careful with that, because over time, generally, not all women, generally, hotness goes well. Both of these, AOC and Jasmine Crockett, they've been enjoying too much of those lobbyist dinners. They've each gained about 50 pounds and they look just terrible. So I don't think they can use that much longer. But that should be concerning to every American. They're not there to govern. They're not there to make life better for you with their job, not to represent you. We are in Congress and in the Senate, we are electing is hiring someone to represent us, our interests. Well, they're not. It's about their personal brand and using this to be an influencer and to make money, because there's a lot of money when you make it big. I'm not making any money. I do it for fun. One day I will. But they're using those platforms. All they do is interviews. Look at, pick on Republicans, Marjorie Taylor Greene. You don't think she's resigning because she got offered some big deal with some media network. Come on. It's pretty obvious. So congratulations to Jasmine Crockett. You are once again Mama Luke of the day. Let me finish off, because tomorrow I have something I really want to get into. Let me finish off the exposing the NGOs. So I really broke down some hypotheses the other day on Tuesday about how this works. So today what I want to talk about is two things: the auditing and where do we go from here. So people will say, man, they're highly audited. I've been involved in this. I understand how when it's a federal grant, how they audit it. It's a paper audit. You know how they caught the ones in Minnesota? Is they had enough intel, enough complaints, and people blowing the whistle on it, that they actually sent people. They sent investigators, physical, because they said they were feeding people. Well, once they started doing surveillance, they realized they weren't feeding people. Well, typically that's not, they don't have the resources to do that. Typically your audits and the checks and balance system is totally paper. If you keep good books and you say, hey, I got this much money and I fed these many people, and the money, say you're saying it's costing $10, $15 a day, and the money's matching the amount of people you say that you're feeding, then it works, because it's a paper audit. It's a paper investigation. As long as you have you've got some people out there keeping books on these NGOs that are more fucking creative than Spielberg, dude. They're more creative than Spielberg. And that's how they're getting away with it. That's how they continue to do this. So here is a couple suggestions that I have, and I like to always have a solution if I see a problem. So here's a solution. Number one, you got to get politicians out of this. Elected. So typically your politicians, see, they localize it. So what they're doing is, it's a federal grant, but I've been awarded, I was part of the agency that I was the representative to be awarded a federal grant. Well, it wasn't awarded by the federal government. It was awarded by the governor's office, and the governor's office, and then it would trickle down, and it would go to local government, and local government would have a say. So the more you localize it, the more chance there is corruption, because when it gets down to a local level, then you have city councilman and mayor and all these other small offices. They're closer to people. When it's local, you have friends. When it's national, it's just a bigger picture. It's harder, in my book, to do that on a local level. So we got to get politicians completely out of it. Number two is you've got to limit these. There's 1.5 million. There's 450,000 that are getting federal grants. Man, you got to. There needs to be. And I'm just kind of spitballing a little bit, throwing some ideas out there. You've got some big, and I'm not saying hasn't been corruption in some of these. Y'all was part of the United Way. United Way has different districts, but it's a national organization. Catholic Charities, there's different places like that. I know the United Way, what the United Way did was they'd get the money and then they would distribute it. Good morning, Brett. So they would distribute it, and there was pretty heavy auditing with that. So you have to find some credible ones instead of these, like I said the other day, in 6 months, I could start today. In 6 months, I could have an NGO, and if I have the right connections, I could have $1 million in federal money in line. This is how that's going. So we've got to regulate, got to cut all these little small ones, directly getting money out, and got to cut the politicians out of it. And then We've got to put, when you do that, when you streamline it better, then you can probably regulate it better. Then you can stop just doing paper audits and start doing real investigations and real audits. And that's what it's going to take. So you have on the ground investigators who are anytime popping in to these food banks and these kitchens that are saying they're feeding people. Any given time, just walk in undercover and just see what's going on. That's how you're going to do that. Especially what I don't understand. We'll show this video, maybe we'll understand a little better. What I don't understand is where's the red flags when they're getting hundreds of millions and billions in money? Oh, come on, man. Any organization that is getting that type of money should have a team of dedicated federal agents, federal employees, or whatever they're called, to make sure that people are getting the services that we as American taxpayers are paying for. I mean, there hasn't been enough outrage that there are hungry people in Minnesota. Dude, man. And Republicans, we're the heartless pricks? No, I think we're going to see who the heartless prick is, or bitch. And here she is.
In the fraud case, and had a former staffer who was convicted.
Jasmine Crockett. Ilhan Omar is actually the one that introduced the legislation that allowed for her district to make off with billions of dollars of taxpayer money.
Legislation that led to the $250 million being defrauded. She held events at one of the restaurants that was named in the fraud case, and had a former staffer who was convicted in the fraud investigation. That's from the New York Post.
Not good. Ilhan Omar is actually the one that introduced the legislation that allowed for her district to make off with billions of dollars of taxpayer.
No, Trish. It's a very well respected journalist, podcaster. I get a lot of information from her because I trust her information. No, Trish, it's not good. And if you watch some of Ilhan Omar's recent interviews, man, she's not big timing like she normally does. She's physically, visibly shaking. She did this. There's no doubt in my mind she did this. She was a part of this. She was the one securing the funding. But that's the Democrats' game. They don't take responsibility for anything, and they're never, if you notice, they're never on the defense. Their defense is offense every single time. It's like, well, we're just trying to about the hungry. You don't care about the homeless. You don't care about this. You don't care about that. No, y'all don't. Y'all were given billions of dollars to take care of these problems. I think she's going to get indicted. I think she should be denaturalized, and I think she should be deported. She is absolutely the devil. She has a reported net worth, from what I understand, of $30 million. She came here to this country with nothing. Somehow became an elected official, making $150,000 or under $200,000 a year, and now has a net worth in a couple of years of $30 million. Come on, that's where we're at, and that's what we have to stop. I will be back tomorrow morning. I got something really on my mind I want to bring to light. It's about why we can't get good qualified law enforcement officers anymore. There's something that happened with some ICE agents that are proving a point I've been making for a while. Until tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. Remember, nobody's coming to save you. The world does not give a fuck.